Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Dungeon Boss Hero Spotlight. Today we are taking a look at a brand new hero. I did not know he was coming out today/tomorrow. I thought he was another week out, but we do have a brand new hero. His name is, and I'm sure you've seen him in the chat already with people ascending him. He's a new light hero. His name is Deadeye. So looks to me like he's an archer. And being the VIP that I am, I do have early access to him. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at him, do a quick unboxing, see how much he costs to ascend, what his abilities are, and get some overall first impressions. And I'll tell you if you should do whatever you got to do to get this guy. So we obviously don't have a, here's a Winterfest 3.0 or 4.0, whatever we're on right now, where we have 1 billion doors to open and $200 to spend. So he's going to be hopefully some sort of event tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to actually be, but he's going to be out there for people to acquire tokens. He's a 1-star hero to start with, obviously, because he's 10 tokens. So, but I did see this little thing in my mail, and that's how I knew that he was out there too. So here's my 10 tokens. Let's have a look at this guy. Overall, his base character model actually looks pretty cool. He is indeed an archer, so theory holds that he would pair with somebody like Willow and Indigo and Nimrio. That remains to be seen, though. Alright, let's see what Deadeye's got. His portrait is way different than his model. That's interesting. And as I suspected, he is another one of the Honor-Bound, rounding out that Honor-Bound team. Personally, I've looked over Honor-Bound, and I did not see that it was anything super fantastic. I'm not going to focus on those really at all for the most part. From a PvP standpoint, I just don't think it's really anything spectacular to write home about. It's nothing we can't deal without. So basically just a couple of little extra buffs here and there, some updates to abilities. I don't think it's really anything special. Alright, so let's look at the stats and see what he's got for base traits to begin with. He obviously has the Bushido, which is less damage from AoEs. I have not done this in a PvP setting yet, so I don't know what that damage reduction is. My guess is it's just a fractional multiplier, maybe like times half or something like that, assuming the tooltip actually does come up. And then buffs last longer on this hero. I don't know how well that's going to work, how many buffs we end up getting on there that are going to last longer and longer. I don't think of many buffs that really, are those great things that just linger about. So I don't know what the intent is there. Turn a Blind Eye. This is actually a great one, especially being a fast hero. This is going to be a great counter to that brand new taunt rune that we have up there. And because he's fast, he's going to be able to go in the first round before most people, obviously not before enemy defenders. And also with Turn a Blind Eye, he's going to be maybe a Shade 2.0 in terms of PvP defenders. If you put him first, he's going to target anybody, and that's going to be pretty handy. We can't really base his initial stats right now because he's a 1-star hero. There's nothing we can really look at there. He's also a light hero, so attack runes are not going to be a plenty, so not really sure what his rune loadout's going to be yet. Standard light rune loadout, so nothing out of the norm there. He's going to be just a regular old run-of-the-mill light hero in my opinion, so stacking attack is going to be difficult, but not impossible. Alright, excuse me. Abilities. Let's start with that to begin with. His first ability is Bring It Down, which looks like he is calling for an Archer Barrage based on what he's suggesting here. So range physical attack for 229. Don't worry about the number. That marks the target. Mark increases range damage dealt. All ranged allies then make a follow-up attack on the target. That's actually pretty cool. So if you're using ranged attackers, it doesn't say archers per se, it does say range. So keep in mind what's range and what's not range. Same with like physical and melee and stuff like that. Physical, melee, range, and so on. But this is actually pretty cool. So we're going to be doing an attack and a mark, and then follow-up rangers are going to, shoot them up. So I don't know what the additional damage is going to be. Probably a ×2 or a ×3 multiplier, to be honest. but we'll have to see that in practice before we can actually make a determination. I doubt it's going to be something like Yorick, where it actually is a % increase and it keeps increasing with each level, but that remains to be seen. His first Ascension cost is fairly expensive for a first Ascension. It's going to require 5 Celestial Evos. That's not usually something we see on the first Ascension. Usually it's about 2. Sorry, I'm getting sick again. So it's moderately expensive. It's certainly not in the range of Ember Sanguine, though, for the most part. Character model increases, gives him a little bit of armor. It makes him look a little bit nicer than what he did. New ability is Solar Shot. Sorry. Armor piercing, range, physical attack for 300. Don't worry about the number. Chance to blind. We don't really see a lot of blindness out there. We see, dazed and things like that. But blind is, I think it's got to be a new debuff. Reduces attack and defense. Reduces target's energy by 1. That's actually pretty awesome, because reducing energy by 1, we have not seen that for many moons. That used to be Bovis's claim to fame, is the dropping people's energy by 1. Probably also why this is the second ability and not the first ability, just so that it doesn't completely uproot the PvP meta. It's kind of a shame. I think this would have been great to have as a first turn skill, but alas, it's a turn 2. His individual stats that he got the Righteous Follower, make a follow-up attack after any attack made by a light or honor-bound ally. So he's going to pair with light teams, particularly Emily's going to be a good one. Honor-bound, like I said, I don't anticipate many people using honor-bound teams. His next Ascension costs 8 and 2. This is actually more typical of a second Ascension, and wouldn't you know it, it's going to be those awful Bushido Evos. Yep, saw that one coming a mile away because of the new Bushido trait. So I apologize to anybody that needs Bushido. Those things were awful to get back in the day. There's only 2 dungeons for it. Alright, let's ascend him. He gets himself a cool bandana and a little bit better armor, and his bow looks pretty cool. So, alright. His last ability is Surgical Volley. Range physical attack on all enemies for 263. Don't worry about the number. Chance to apply nerve damage, can't be healed. The nerve damage is actually pretty cool. If you ever used Masuda Kira in his heyday, nerve damage is excellent skill, or excellent trait rather. And then his stat that he got from this one was Sun-Tipped Arrows. So allies' ranged physical attacks have a chance to purge a buff on hit. That's actually pretty good too. But it has to be ranged attacks. So keep in mind who your actual allies are. Doesn't say anything about light allies. Doesn't say anything about honor-bound allies. So anybody that has ranged attacks, they can purge buffs on hit. But take that with a grain of salt. So I think all in all, my first impressions, he's obviously an interesting hero. I don't know where he's going to fall in the meta. I mean, some of his abilities are pretty cool. I like the idea of the solar shot reducing energy, but it's got a pretty steep cooldown as far as a PvP attack would go. So we're not going to get this one up in any time to make it really matter. To be honest, I think the Bring It Down is probably going to be the most impressive one if you bring a ranged-based team. But even so, this is really no different than if you have a high-powered person like Agnon, who's essentially the idea behind this is it seems like it's going to be a one-shot mechanic. So you shoot somebody with this, and then they basically die. So the fact that he's fast is really just a matter of making this go before Agnon would go. So, in the scheme of things, if you're staring down someone like Gortusk, it's not going to matter anyways, because you're probably not going to one-shot him without somebody like Agnon. And with the taunt runes out there, obviously, in this case here, he's immune to taunt, And this ability, yeah, this will make at least the other people on the team also attack that person. So it is a way to get your entire team to attack somebody that's not taunted, provided you have a range-based team. So I'm not sure what the team is going to be with this guy yet. Like I said, I'm very confident that it's not going to be an honor-bound team, because there's not going to be a lot of people jumping to use Samurai Takume or Yokozuna. As soon as I saw the initial event page and saw that Yokozuna had an update, I had my hopes up, but the lack of actual stuff that Honorbound did was a bit underwhelming, so I'm not too convinced that's going to be worth anything. So we will leave this be. I'm going to leave it be for a couple of days till the whatever event comes up, and get a little bit more tokens and get him maybe to 3 or 4 stars before I start attempting any type of PvP with him. I don't think that he's going to change the PvP defense meta. I think the PvP defense meta is already going to be predetermined based on the taunt runes that were just available in the last event. So this is, like I said, probably some sort of a counter to that, to basically avoid taunting. So combine this guy with Shade with 2 guys who are immune to taunting. Obviously that's going to be helpful, but there's still going to be tons and tons and tons of barbarians out there, and this guy here is not going to do anything against barbarians. I can just all but guarantee that right now. So clever rune usage, maybe he'll be good on a particular team, but I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, without looking to see what sort of defenses are floating around and to see who else might pair with this guy in terms of synergy. So that's the basic little overview that we have right now. We'll see how he shakes out in the next couple of days. If you have any ideas in terms of what you think is going to be a good team for this guy, definitely leave them below, and we can certainly workshop them and see what it's going to look like. Otherwise, that's going to wrap up this video. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave those below, and we will see you again next time. Thanks.
Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.